Oh, yeah. Because it's saying something about, I don't know what that means.
See, health check.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. It says the mic. I'm not sure. But if we can hear each other, I'm just gonna screen record in case it doesn't record for us.
Yeah.
Just in case, because the last time that happened too, the last chat that I did last weekend. But yes. So hello, my name is Deja. I was waiting for the people, but like they sent me the emails that they won't be joining. So I am, but it's okay because you're here. Thank you so much for coming. If you want to just introduce your name and your pronouns.
So I'm Angelica or Angel, whichever you want to call me, and my pronouns are she, her.
Sure. My name is Deja. I'm also she, her. I am a K-pop fan. I guess I'm still kind of considered a baby K-pop fan, maybe. But I'll go ahead and ask you, because I've seen a few of your videos already. So, like, I guess just kind of how you got into K-pop or how you heard about K-pop.
So I'm actually half Korean, so I've always been kind of like in the culture, but I've never really listened to like actual K-pop. My dad is old school Korean, so he listens to like Trot. I don't know if you've like dived into that.
I've heard of it a little bit.
That's what he listens to. So I actually joined the military, and the first place I got stationed was actually in Korea.
Wow.
So
Okay.
so then I hear this music. Of course, they play it literally everywhere in stores, and it's not like in stores in the U.S. It's loud. It's like they want you to like come, and it was literally like the clouds opening up. I'm like, what is this? This sounds totally different than what I'm used to in the States. And then since then, it's pretty much I and in K-pop, and I'm always looking for new groups, and I'm always like, I want to know everything.
I mean, it's so many. It's so many of them. Have you been to Korea?
Yeah, so I actually lived there for 4 years
Right.
in the military, and then of course, being in the military, I had to come back to the States, and now my husband is still in the military, and one of the options, he's like, where do you want to go? And I was like, back to Korea. My dad actually lives there now too, so my dad lives there, so it would also be for us to go visit my dad. But I love everything Korean. Even if we go to like Japan, I'm very much interested in different cultures, and I want my kids to kind of experience that, because there's, as much as we live in the United States, they're kind of stuck in this United States bubble almost.
Yeah. You want to kind of like let them learn about Korea a little bit more.
Learn about it from Koreans, because I can only show them so much.
Mm-hmm.
And even with K-pop here in the United States, like I work at a school, and we had to do a project about Korea, and they were like, BTS, and I was like, hold on, yes, BTS, let me show you. And I showed them like twice in ITZY, and they were like, wait, there's girls? I'm like, yes.
There's so many groups.
There's so many groups, there's so many different types, and that's one of the things I love about K-pop. Like, people will say, I don't like K-pop, and I'm like, hold on, what don't you like? Well, I don't like BTS. Well, what do you like? And I'm hoping that I can find a group or someone that kind of is what you like. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Don't pigeonhole yourself.
Exactly. There's so many, and also with like the Korean music, I have people talked about KR&B, and I haven't gotten into that yet, but I heard like that was really good. K hip hop. So there's different genres
Yes.
with K-pop.
Once you go down that rabbit, like, have you listened to like Monsta X?
That's my babes. Moment here.
Like, I call it grown up K-pop music, because that is not, that's for us. That's for me.
That's for the grown folks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's so many different themes and genres and group. Even like Dreamcatcher, someone
Lovely.
was like, "You're very emo. Here, check out this group." And I'm not really into girl groups, and I'm like, I'm probably not gonna like them, like whatever. And now I have their light stick, and I have all their albums. I'm like, thank you, because that's, even though I've liked K-pop for 20 years, there's always something new that I probably have missed. So please tell me, like, help me.
So you've been through it, like with the different gens and stuff like that. Like, what group really got you into K-pop? Like, can you remember?
Big Bang.
Big Bang.
That was the automatic. Big Bang, and then when they had all their drama, I was literally like in tears. Like, and then I went from Big Bang to, of course, BTS, and then of course like Stray Kids, and then ATs, and but like even when they released, was it Still Life? 5 seconds in, I was like bawling. My husband was like, "What is going on?" So this, like, they're here. They're actually like vibe. That like my heart was happy. Like it was the army and the VIPs just coming together, and but it was definitely Big Bang, and then of course Girls' Generation. But that's so so old.
People talk about a lot about Big Bang and Girls' Generation. I'm new to both of them, so I'm still learning a little bit. I kind of came into it with 4th gen and like slowly learned about 3rd gen, and then of 2nd gen. I also just got into 2NE1, so it's like a lot of like the older groups, the OG groups. I'll say that that really got people into K-pop, and I don't really know about like the huge situation with Big Bang. Are they still together or like kind of disbanded?
Yes and no. So you got Top, who's going to space. He actually had like a drug scandal, and Society and it wasn't even like anything to me. Not bad. It was marijuana. Me, but Korea, they don't like. That's a huge no. So it was like this huge like scandal, and then they had the other guy who was involved in like prostitution and stuff. So that pretty much like tore the group apart. Like he's getting released from jail in like a couple weeks, and people still support him.
It wasn't G-Dragon, was it?
No. Okay. I was probably crying.
Because I heard a lot of people talk about G-Dragon, so I'm like, hold on now. Hopefully ain't G-Dragon.
It was like an anonymous member. We don't even mention his name, but there's people that still support him, just like anything in K-pop. People support problematic people. So they're kind of still together, but not. They're kind of doing their own projects. I think Still Life, honestly, was the last thing they would probably do together.
Okay. And I was gonna talk to you about that too. So when it comes to problematic idols, especially like if it's just one, like in a group, like how do you go about that? Like how do you kind of have the process of like, okay, do I still stand? Do I listen? Like what's the process for you?
And since you're new, so there's gonna be lots of scandals. I look at what did they do and how did the members react. So like Monsta X. And oh my god, I'm like blanking on his name.
Why not?
Now, and I have Wano, yeah. So he had a scandal. He's out of the group, but I saw the members literally talk about him. They support him 100%. So I'm like, okay, if the people you live with 24/7 don't see it as bad, then what the public is seeing is just what media is pushing out. Okay, so maybe it's not as bad. Then you have Stray Kids and Woojin. I'm going to tread lightly. I don't know what it was about him. There's just like with any K-pop member, I see a member and I don't vibe with them. I won't say he's not talented, but then I looked at Chan. Chan supports everybody. He will play your music. He doesn't care if you're from a different company. He won't look at this dude. He won't go to his concerts. He won't mention him. They re-recorded albums to get rid of him. They redid music videos to get rid of him. And to me, that's a sign that we may not know 100% of what happened, but the way the members are reacting, I know I'm good.
Stray Kids were one of the first groups that, like, when I first started getting into K-pop, that I really listened to. Like, I considered myself a stay at the time. And it was interesting because I'm like, oh yeah, they had another member. Okay, so like when I didn't like dig deep into it, but like in the beginning, it was kind of just like very much like you're either on Stray Kids side or you're either on his side. And I think a lot of people were kind of just, I didn't want to get into it. I didn't like, I don't know the whole story. I don't know them personally, so I didn't take it to heart. But I think it was, like you said, Chan is such a like social butterfly. He really does support a lot of people, so it was interesting. I also remember like how IN would like react sometimes. I'm like, that's interesting, you know. I don't know the full story, but it was just interesting, like how.
Yeah, I don't think we'll ever know the full story, and I hate that there's like this. It's like a clear line You're either with Stray Kids or you're with him. And my thing is, you can support him, and we can still talk about Stray Kids. I don't like him, but I will never say he's not talented.
Right.
That doesn't come out of my mouth because that would be a lie. So I don't understand this weird, I call it cult behavior. It's like, you have to be on our team and you're not allowed to be part of anybody else's team. And that's one of the things I kind of don't like about K-pop, especially being a multi-stan. I like everybody. I want to listen to everybody. You're not going to pigeonhole me. I was just at a concert yesterday, P1 Harmony. Fantastic. Like, with my daughters had their Blackpink light stick, one had the Rose light stick. Like, that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be like, if you like them, you can't like them. To me, that just makes sure that you don't hear all kinds of music. Like, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to like, and I hate that about K-pop.
The fandoms are insane, and it's especially when, like, other groups have, like, their shine. They're so quick to be like, oh, well, they are not even that talented, da-da-da. Like, why do you have to go there? Like, they are, but...
And I will call out any fandom in any of my videos, and I think that's what people don't understand. I may be a stay, but I'll call you out. Like, when ATEEZ, it was like #1 Billboard, and I'm here like, yay! Here goes States. This is what Stray Kids did. They didn't ask about Stray Kids.
Yeah.
They asked about ATEEZ. Like, don't do that. Don't take away their light, because then it also pushes people away from K-pop, and that's just my opinion. Like, I have people that are afraid to say they don't like BTS because they get attacked.
Yeah.
Like, you're allowed to not like them. You're not allowed to be respectful.
Right.
Don't say they're not talented. Don't say they don't work hard. But you're allowed to say that's not for me.
Right. And I had a chat with another stay before, and we kind of were going, because I'm an 18 to the stay, so we kind of like, because it's like the beef with 18 and stay are just like, to me, it kind of reaches the Blackpink and, the Blinks and the Army, like, but for fourth gen, it's really bad.
It's so bad. It all started for me, at least when I noticed Kingdom. And it just went downhill from there. They've never came back from that, and you got to tell people they're friends. Like, you're bickering, they're probably at home laughing at y'all. Like,
I can't stand that, because it's like, we've seen, even if they weren't close, like, they're not going to come out in public and disrespect each other like that. So the fact that the fans do it, to me is just so weird, because it's just like, for what? Like, you're wasting your time for both talented groups, both got money, both are, nice people from what we know. So it's just like, why is it the constant beef every time either they release a song or one goes in a Billboard? It's every day with the fandoms.
Competition. And I've started to notice MOAs creeping into. Like, and I'm like, first of all, you're babies. Like, please go sit down. But I don't understand this. I understand defending when someone's disrespectful. Like, I'm for that. Like, attack. Like, I understand it says turn the other cheek, but being disrespectful is one thing, but there's a line, and some people just don't know that line, and that makes it very scary to see how these people act outside of K-pop, because more than likely the way you act for this music, that's probably the way you act in real life, which is not worrisome.
I think the reason I think MOAs are getting into it as well is because the title itself, fourth gen leaders, and like, that's always like the competition between the fandoms of like, who is the real fourth gen leader? Why does it matter?
They're all making more money than us, doing what they love. Like, why does it matter? It's a title. Like, they more than likely don't care. Like,
no, and they never include girl groups in that, and there's talented girl fourth gen groups that they never include into that. So it's just like, there's so many underrated groups as well. So it's just the fact that they only talk about them. It's just kind of like, I also feel like it puts pressure on the group to like always be perfect, and I hate that they even feel that way, because they're human too. They're gonna have their bad days. So I don't know. It's just weird.
You're not allowed to have a bad day. That's what they pretty much say. You're not allowed to be tired. You're not allowed. You can't show emotion, or they take it 10 times higher. Like, now that we know, like, Han has anxiety. If he's having a bad day, oh my god, he's having an anxiety attack. Don't put that on him. You don't know him. You're not his friend. You don't know anything about him personally. And I think people don't know how And K-pop creates that. That's the whole point. They want this parasocial relationship. The problem is people don't know how to stop.
It's
like they cross that line.
And I think people have said this before about how, like, a lot of the Korean fans get more interaction, so they feel closer because they get the quote-unquote boyfriend effect, and so they feel somehow closer to them. And I know you've seen about the whole, like, fans constantly winning the fan calls. Have you won one before?
No, I've only bought into one once, and then I, of course, didn't get it, and I was like, cool, that's nice. But I love K-pop, but I hate that it's almost elitist. Like, no one has, I mean, if you do, good for you, but I'm not spending $1,200 on albums to speak for 5 minutes.
If that.
And then you also spend that money, and then you ask them the dumbest questions known to man. Like, I don't understand. Are they just weird?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, can you bark for me? No, I can't bark for you. Like, why would you waste your money doing that? Or you have people that'll be like, don't bring so-and-so's light stick to different concert. Light sticks are $60.
If that's the cheapest, they go up from there. Especially Dreamcatcher.
Yes. Dreamcatchers I paid $110 for. My daughters broke it, so let me... No. They were, what song? Oh, Run BTS. They were having a concert, and she slammed it. She was in the moment.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation about break your light sticks, don't touch mommy's light sticks. But it's like, are you going to give someone $60 to pay for every light stick for every group they go to?
Right.
Like, it's very almost elite. I bought 75 albums. I'm a real fan. No, you're not.
I never understood that, like, of just, or even when people say, like, because they've been standing since debut or pre-debut, they feel like they're more of a real fan than other fans. And it's just like, we can't know everybody from the get-go.
Like, we can't. We discovered Stray Kids. I literally was on YouTube looking up new K-pop, and it said God's Menu. And I was like, sure, let me check this out. And sure enough, they sucked me in, so then I had to go backwards. Like, watch a typical show.
Yeah.
That's the way it is for most people. Like, they discover it on a whim, or they discover, hey, what are you listening to? Let me listen to that. And I hate it. You gotta own every album. You gotta stream. You gotta repost, retweet. You gotta go on the apps and vote. I'm like, well, if you're sitting there, why don't you? Because I don't want to. Like,
they've also made voting so much more difficult. Like, I remember back in my One Direction days, like, when we used to vote, like, for any of the shows, it used to just be, like, a hashtag. Like, just add the hashtag and we're kind of like that. But, like, now with K-pop, because of, like, download apps, you gotta make usernames. I'm like, oh my goodness.
It's chaos. Or now you can, like, buy the album to get a fan calls, and then people are buying all those albums. Like, it's just, I feel like it's weird, this, like, list of criteria to be a real fan, when, honestly, YouTube is free. If you're just listening to the group, to me, it's being a fan. You don't need to know their blood type, and their birthdays, and their heights, and their family members, and I think that's another line that K-pop crosses as family.
Yeah.
Like Chan and his sister. That makes me... So,
even
there was literally someone, an anti, making fun of Chan, posting videos on TikTok, but then was happy to meet his sister. To me, that's just... Why would you do that? Yes, they're two separate entities, but that would be like someone talking about my husband and then me go hanging out with them. Like,
right. It's weird, and it's because I remember when I first got into K-pop, so many idols were secretive about their family members. Like, every time we saw them, like, in vlogs and stuff, they would cover their faces just to protect them and stuff. So it's when idols do feel comfortable enough to show their just their siblings in general. It's just weird how the fans react to that. I think it's just always kind of just like, okay, well, they're gifting you with seeing their siblings, and, like, this is how you act about it. It's like, now you see why they didn't want to show us.
Well, they want to show us. That's why I tell my husband, even though he hates K-pop and I talk to him, but he listens. I was like, any of the members from BTS get married, we would never know.
No.
I honestly don't think they would ever tell.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
The running joke is that RM has a wife and kids. And it would not surprise me if he did, because the fans just like, what was it, V and Jenny were speculated to have dates. I was like, good for them. Good for them. And people, no, he can't. Why can't he? That's a grown man. That's a grown woman. Like,
I would hate to be on the level of a BTS or Blackpink, just because any and everything they do, if they just sneeze the wrong way, it's just, I don't know, it's just way too extreme for me. Like, I see the way their fans, it's like, the fans always feel like, when they, like, attack people for not, like, liking a song, or just, like, not liking a comeback, they feel like because they attack people, that makes people want to, like, be in the fandom even more. Like, you're doing the opposite effect.
You're completely pushing people away, and I don't think they get that. Like, I've had people straight up tell me they hate BTS. And I'm like, okay, like, why? Why don't you don't have to like everybody, but, like, why do you hate them? They're like, the fans. They're like, I will say I don't like a song, and I'm immediately attacked. And I was like, I get that. And the people that get it, and the people that don't. They're like, I don't understand why that would push someone away. I was like, if you're trying to get into something and you meet someone hoping that will help you and they attack you, you kind of are put off from that. Like, you don't want anything to do with that anymore. No, that just means they were never into it. But they might have been if you guys would have just welcomed them instead of being borderline psychotic about it. Like,
even when, because I put out, like, BTS reactions before, but, like, the one Blackpink reaction I did, it was to Shutdown and Pink Venom. And I was like, okay, Pink Venom was interesting, but my issue with Shutdown was, like, the appropriation that I felt it had. So there was people that were like, appreciation and appropriation. For me, it was appropriation. For others, it was appreciation. That's totally fine. Even in the video, I expressed myself of, like, how the girls are great, you know what I mean? But it's just the appropriation for me just was too much. And the comments were eating me up. The comments were like, no, this is just, they were eating me up. I'm like, all right.
I had the same problem on one of my videos. I was like, I literally turned it off the minute I heard Rihanna. And I was like, did she just say? And I had to, like, I was like, so you're not even, like, it was copying. There was no appreciation. I'm sorry, I agree. There was no appreciation. It was like copy-paste.
Mm-hmm.
Copy-paste. Copy-paste. And I think that's also a problem in K-pop that I've made a ton of videos about. We will say, this is not okay. Like, this issue right here, this is making us very uncomfortable, and we need you guys to know why it's wrong. And they're like, no, that's not an issue, but then they'll blow up about something else that has nothing. I'm like, we're here, we're telling you that this is really messed up, and it's almost like phased out. Like, Cocoa and Butter, I thought that was a joke.
Was that I think I know what you're talking about. I thought it was a joke too. I'm like, there's no way.
Group. It's a real group. And I literally had to, like, be like, okay, let me do some research, because there's no way. This is like some SNL parody. Like, this is not real. And it's real. And they were just like, it's okay, it's wrong, but it's okay. I'm like, no, we're telling you that this is wrong. This is, and I think also a whole nother talk about Koreans and K-pop and Black people, and it just all meshes, like, just melds together, like, and no one wants to have those conversations. They want to have it with themselves, but as soon as somebody a little bit darker joins the conversation, all of a sudden it's issue.
I think also they feel comfortable because if, like, one or two Black fans are like, oh, no, that's fine, that they act like those Black fans speak for the entire Black community, and they don't. It's okay if they don't have a problem with it, but if I see a problem with it, I'm allowed to have that opinion.
It's the Candace Owens, that's what I call them. They take the one or two, it's just like any issue, just like, they'll be like, oh, you're a stay, but you're Black. Yes. I 100% am. But do not excuse what they did.
Right.
You're allowed to not to. That's 100% on you. But you cannot say, I can't say that how I feel is okay for you.
Right.
No. No. You guys can give so-and-so a pass, But when it comes to certain groups, no one gets a pass.
Right.
They're held at the same standard. No one gets a pass.
Even like, because again, I was considered a stay when I first got into K-pop. I love Stray Kids, and like that, it was more so like when I found out that like this things that happened, it was more so of a disappointment thing. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, like I have to like hate them, da da da. It was just my, oh, that's like really disappointing, and I kind of just kind of strayed away from them. But like, it did not take away from their talented, their, you know, they're a close group. I enjoy them, so it's just more so like I kind of distance myself versus just like completely like, never again will I ever listen to them. I think it's just one of those things where it's kind of like, okay, well, let me just heal for a minute, like of what I just took in of what happened.
I always say there's a difference between ignorance and racism.
Mm.
Some people are just honestly ignorant. If you don't grow up, they probably all grew up around Korean people, or you know, they live in Australia, so white people. You know, it's ignorance. You can tell. Always see the actions afterwards.
Yeah.
So they know their mistake. I'm watching you now. You're on my radar. Like, I'm literally watching every little thing you do. Did I forget it? No.
Right.
Are we gonna move on? Hopefully in a positive direction. Hopefully. But I'm always gonna keep my eye on you, just to see if you're growing.
And that's like so many, I can't even name a group that hasn't had some issue, like, or some, like, you know, whether it was like cultural appropriation or like something they said, like I can't even name a group that hasn't done that or something along those lines. So it's not like, oh, we're just picking on certain groups. It's so many groups that have done that. It's just depending on, like you said, like, how are you going to move on with that group if you decide to?
That's what it is. I can't name one group that has not done something where I'm like, really? Like, like, all right. And I think the focus, again, it's a huge problem in K-pop where people will move on for certain groups, but they will not move on for other groups. Exactly. And I've always said, until we can have a conversation about all groups, please don't mention someone's races or racism or ignorance, because then that would be K-pop as a whole. And when you guys are ready for that conversation, and you can't exclude your faves.
Right.
You can, as much as you want to. You do, like, my bank, Suga. Suga is my, since the beginning. But this concept that he grew up in the hard streets of Daegu, that's where I lived for 4 years. Daegu is poor, not hood. I think people mix the two. Like, it can have poor air, but it's not the hood. And I think people have this misconception also because they've never been to Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this weird misconception. No, it's poor, and they all almost, I can name one member probably from 20 K-pop groups that have done something borderline just ignorant or racist or just insensitive.
Yeah. It happens all the time, and I think there's a few soloists, like there's like one soloist, like when I first got into K-pop, I'm like, okay, this person's really cool, and then I was like, okay, well, you keep doing that, so I feel like now you just kind of now you're doing
it on purpose. Just like, what was it recently? Oh, The Boys. A member from The Boys, they went to Japan. Mind you, a group had already gotten in trouble for wearing the rising sun. He went to Japan and had a hat with the like rising sun symbol on it, and they're like, dude, first of all, someone just got in trouble for that 2 weeks ago. Why would you do that?
Oh, which member? Oh no, my babies.
Like, to look it up. Yeah, it was like recently, and I just skimmed it, and I was like, dude, and I just kept scrolling, like, I'm not doing this with you. Not, like, why are you doing this?
No, I gotta look it up now.
Certain groups you just look at and you're like, come on, but they're also, I don't want to say part of the problem is they're so young when they get them, and they're raising themselves because the companies give them whatever handlers, and what, you got a bunch of 14, 15, 16-year-olds just being teenagers. And no one's there to correct them and help them grow.
And, like, that's an issue, too, of, like, when teenagers debut. So, like, with the fourth gen that we grew up, so the first huge fourth gen, so you got The Boys, Stray Kids, ATs, like, they were, like, the first to really debut. They were all, from what I can understand, they were all like legal. Like they were all legal ages. But like the younger they get, I don't remember if Kai from TXT, I don't know if he was a minor when they debuted or not. But and the new ones like New Jeans, even P1 Harmony have minors. Like they're like the younger they have, I'm just like just put them with 5th gen because at this point I don't think if they can consider 4th gen. They're so young.
Soul from P1 Harmony just turned 18 this week.
Okay.
So he literally, you got Nikki from in Hyphen who is what 15, 16.
He's still 15.
Yes, I think he's like 15 or 16. So he's still a baby. And then New Jeans, they're so cute. And my daughters love them, but something about it makes me very uncomfortable. And then the CEO has history of mistreating girl groups. So that's what also makes me, and I think people are giving her a pass because she's a female. And I made a video about this too, that females are the worst. Mm-hmm. Females are the worst defenders. And it makes me very uncomfortable because even at their fan meets are mostly grown men.
I've heard that. I thought it was disgusting.
And I was like, no one, like
how are they allowed to do that?
Why are you meeting with a 14-year-old little girl?
Right.
And people are okay with
I don't get it.
It's just different. And then, like, Nikki, someone had, like, what is it? Fan fiction about him.
Huh?
He was 15. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Kpop, where people are just weird. They had fan fiction about him being in a relationship. Or, like, people saying that Kiho and Seoul were dating. And people were like, he's literally 17.
Right. What?
Like, what is wrong? Like, what is... No! Y'all should be put on a watch list. Like, no.
Seriously, because it's weird. I've even I seen like a meme the other day of, because that's why I was talking about it, that Soul was 18 now, because the meme was basically saying how like, yeah, there's like grown women out there that are like waiting until they're like 18, and it's just like, that's weird. Because like, why would you do that?
And that puts on no red flags for anybody. Like, no. Yeah, women were screaming at the concert yesterday. Grown women were screaming for Soul, the boy that just turned 18.
No, that's my baby. I just, he's so cute.
That's
like,
I take him home and cook him food, right, and make sure his clothes were washed. Like, I don't, like, he'll be my 4th kid, but I don't, like, there's a line. I don't think people know that line, and I think that's, K-pop wants that line to be crossed, honestly. They want that, because that sells stuff.
Yeah.
That what cost.
And it makes me uncomfortable because, like, even when I first got into P1 Harmony, this is sometime last year, I had my video up, and it was, like, the interview, but I didn't know their ages at first. I didn't look it up until the end of the video. But Theo, I think, is the one that I'm, like, I was, like, looking up, and I'm, like, look, I seen his age, I'm, like, ain't no way. Let me just never, I was, like, I will always look at the ages first. You're not gonna get me. Like, I think he is, like, 18, 19, but still, it was weird. I was like,
no. Especially for me, I'm 35 years old. They're all
babies.
They're all, like, I just want to take them home. I'll make you food.
Yeah.
Like, make sure you get some sleep. But it's a weird line. Like, I don't understand it, because even Boys Planet, the youngest one is like 13 or 14. JYP just released, they're looking for, they're auditioning in the States, and I think 12 was the youngest age of they were allowing to audition.
Ew. I think it's
babies.
Even if, and that also scares me simply because, like, the younger they are, the more I feel like sometimes they just structure them to be the perfect human, and they stop being like, they can't grow up and just be themselves. They have to then become this kind of robotic thing that has to be good at everything, rapping, dancing, singing. You have to be perfect at all times, and it's just like, y'all had the time to put in all this effort. Y'all could put in like a cultural appropriation class while you at it, because a lot of y'all just don't be caring.
No, they don't care at all, and I think that's why they want them young. I've always said that, because it's clay.
Yeah.
I get to mold want to, and that's why when BTS said they were taking a break, the one member, because me and my friend talk about it, of course, the one member I was 100% scared for is JK. Mm-hmm. He has been with BTS since he's been 14. and now you are literally saying we're taking a break. Yeah, he 14.
Yikes! I'm very new to BTS, so
yeah, 14 years old, and he's been doing this for a decade, and all of a sudden you're saying we're taking a break. I was like, is someone watching him? Like, is someone making sure he's okay? Because this is all he's ever known. Like, is someone? Do you guys think about that? Do you got mental health? Like, he's got a therapist, and I don't think K-pop's there yet. Honestly,
it kind of reminds me of when we hear about the child stars in the States, of how like they grew up on camera, and like when they don't have work, they don't know what to do, and that's when they turn to like, you know, the heavy substances and stuff like that, because they didn't know how to mentally deal with that. And so that is interesting that you say that, because I didn't know he was since 14. But with all of these idols, I feel like when they get any type of break or holiday, they don't know how to really spend or relax, because they're so used to like such a heavy structured schedule and just hectic just energy around them. So like when they get a time to just like breathe, they're like, they don't know what to do. They're like, huh? Wait, what? They have to do something to keep their mind going.
They don't know what to do, and then I don't think the fans know what to do, because like even like Stray Kids, they post on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and I'm like, dude, get off. Like, take a break. Like, wait, and the minute they don't, people are like, what's going on?
Right.
Why aren't they posting?
I'm like, calm
They're
down.
with their family. Why do you have to make a vlog? And literally every break that Stray Kids take, they're making a vlog.
Yeah. I remember
with
that.
Families. Why? Take a break. And I understand Chan, he wants to work. They all want to work. Like, I know they love their job, but I think when they're on a break, they should be on a break. There should be no content posted. There should be nothing. They should just be with their families. Somehow I think if you actually are a fan of them, you would understand that.
Exactly.
Like, let them spend time with their mama and, you know, eat food and not have to have a camera on their face.
Exactly.
Like, I don't see the point in that.
They give us so much content. They give us so much of themselves anyway. So it's just like, and I guess maybe because we're multis, we're so busy with all other groups. The people that are like solo fan, they're just like, I'm waiting every day, every minute of the day for my group. But it's just like, you know, look at another group for a minute, because you're kind of making me anxious. I don't see how you're solo stand anyway.
People like BTS, they're taking a hiatus. I'm just going to wait for them. I'm not going to look at any other groups. I'm like, but why? Now that you have the time, honestly, they're not doing as much. Go venture out. You might find someone you like. Like, you never know. Just like me and TXT, I don't know what it is about them. I just can't get into them.
Oh.
I don't know what it was. And
you're
then
the only one.
Back, now I got freaking 4 albums. I'm waiting for concert tickets to be bought. Like, and I think that's okay too. People have this weird conception in their mind, like, I have to like them. Mm-hmm. They're popular. I have to like them. No, they don't. You don't. Right. You don't have to like anybody.
It's not for everybody, and that's okay. Like,
like, you're not gonna like it. You don't have to like it. It's okay, but also venture out.
Yeah.
Venture. Listen to different types of music. Like, it's okay.
I think it's also like strange when I hear Americans, they're just like, there's nothing like it. And I get it, but a lot of it is based off of just Black culture in the States. So it's just interesting, or either really a lot of places, but definitely in the States, that it's just so interesting that they won't like artists here because, like, you know, they swear all the time and they talk about the same thing, but there's so many underrated, amazing American artists that people just kind of like look over, but because they're not popular. And like, I think that isn't a thing with K-pop as well. Like, a lot of people are just into that group because they're popular. And I even remember, like, that was like the hold up with me in K-pop, because I kept hearing about BTS and I'm like, oh, what about BTS? And like, I was like, so I strayed away as long as I could. And then I'm like, well, let me just, you know, give BTS. So I think Blackpink were like the first ones I really liked. I was like, oh, okay, this kind of cute, okay. And like from there, I kind of went on. So it was like kind of, I didn't like them because they were popular, but because at the time I really enjoyed their music. Like, even now, I still like, they have bangers, you know. I'm not gonna like every song, but they have bangers. So it is interesting.
It's interesting too, because it's the same thing with BTS. Like, it's almost like this conception that you have to like everything they do. Like, right. Like Butter and Might, I can't. Like, I try. Like, as much as I love them, I cannot get into Butter and Dynamite. They're English songs. I just don't like. And the minute I said that, people were like, how dare you?
Right.
You have to no, no, thank you. I don't have to I just like with any group, I'm not gonna like everything they do, and I'm not gonna like something just because it's popular. I'm gonna like it because it sounds good or it makes a connection with me. And K-pop always has been like that, where you have to like this. You have no choice. And this group is popular, so you have to like them. No, I don't. I really don't.
Right. And there's so many underrated groups in K-pop that when people just go for like the popular ones, you're missing out on a lot of good music. Okay, especially yeah, even with with Monster X in their English releases, I think a lot of people sleep on them. Like, they're so good.
Again, I made a video about that. Monster X is literally the only group that has a full English album that I like. I'm sorry, like every song, there's no skips. There's just them in general. Just no skips. They make grown-up music. And then you got people like Blackpink. They're the best vocalists. I was like, well, have you checked out Mama Moo?
Mama Moo. Let's Mama Moo. Let's get into it. Come on now. The vocals.
You heard? Have you actually listened to them sing?
Even Dreamcatcher. Sion?
Oh God, yes.
My girl can the vocals.
Wasa, like her voice, literally, like it's just good. There's no explanation in people because they're not as popular.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of just like with P1 Harmony, Kehoe, his voice. Excuse me, sir. What black church did you grow up around?
He is the funniest and just adorable leader. Like, I was so shocked that he was the leader when I first got into it, because I'm like, you're too funny. And like, I don't know, like his energy is just so, he's Canadian, but that also shocked me, but he's just so friendly and so like welcoming that it's just so interesting that he's the leader. It was nice.
He's a leader, and I like that he's one of the few K-pop stars that will tell people about themselves. He does not. And I think that needs to happen more often. Like, I understand that they're trying to be nice, but some of y'all cross the line, and I'm here for them telling you how you put you into place, pretty much.
And he's so shameless with it.
He doesn't care. He'll do it. He doesn't. He's like, cool, fire me. What are you gonna do?
And like the company that I was like so shocked they were with FNC, because SF9 is with them, and the way FNC has treated SF9 throughout the years, I'm like, okay, side eye. So I think P1 Harmony has really helped that company, because if it wasn't for P1 Harmony, because SF9 is underrated as well, but I think because P1 Harmony is like younger, and so they can kind of like bring in that younger audience, that has helped. But like FNC needs some help because they have talent, so.
I don't think they know what to do with them. Just like SF9, I think FNC is so concentrated on their acting part.
Yeah.
Because that the music, like they come out with a song like once every 2 years. They have an album. They're like, cool, we'll see you guys in another year. They're putting the Blackpink. Like that's what, like they disappear. But the problem with SF9 is they model and they act.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where they're putting all their eggs in one basket. And then you got P1 Harmony. That's just like they're struggling. They're like trying to get as much. Just like yesterday at the concert, it made me kind of sad. So the concert in Pennsylvania, I guess, was one of the biggest venues that they had.
Oh.
If you looked out, there was still like 1,500 seats that weren't sold.
Really?
And it sucks because they're so talented. Like,
yeah.
Where are y'all at? But luckily, the few of us that were there were as loud as possible, and like there's not many of us here, but we're gonna make it as loud as possible so that they know that there's people here that actually want them to be here. And FNC is just like slacking. Like, where's the promotion for this concert? I literally didn't hear anything about it. Where's the posters? Where's the Twitter? Where's the like something like?
Yeah.
And it's just like, here's a song, here's a video. Now we're gonna have a concert. Here you guys go.
I mean, it took us forever. I was so upset that I couldn't see SF9 when they came to the States. It took us forever to get them here, and because they went to KCON, but to get an actual tour in the States took forever. And then when they finally did, I really remember people saying like it was empty seats, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was, simply because FNC was not promoting it like that. And it's like they were really I feel like New York was probably like their biggest stop, simply because there's just so many people in New York. But it is just the way they treat them, and like you said, they just focus so much on their acting, because even Rowoon, like, it took us forever to get him back. Like, we got 2 in the military. Rowoon, he's acting. We finally get him back for a comeback, and it's just like there was no shows, interviews, like so much was lacking. I'm like, a fan could manage them better.
Where's Music Bank? Where is, like, come on, a YouTube video, Twitter. Like, I'm still seeing Twitter freaking tweets about ATEEZ's concert. like, from, like, 2 months ago, even though they're in Europe now, but, like, in the States, people just being like, hey, like, the fans, I think, promote FNC companies better than the actual company. Like, and I think that's gonna bite them, honestly. Just like YG. What is going on with YG? Everybody's leaving YG.
Icon just left, right?
Blackpink offered money to leave YG. They haven't said who is offering them money, but they have. And honestly, I think, me personally, I think they're gonna take the money. That's just me and my friends talked about it. I just don't. They don't seem happy to me.
I was gonna say that, like, this is no shade, but it's just like the concert videos that I'm seeing, they want to go home. They don't want to be there.
Yes. They're like, okay, drop some money, drop some money.
There's no energy anymore. I feel like they're just like, I'm done. But, you know, they're so big now that I don't know if they're kind of just tired. They need a break or what. But they did have a break. I don't know. But
They did have,
yeah. I don't know. I
just don't think. But
yeah.
I honestly don't think they want to do it, because if you see Jennie and Lisa out, they're happy. When they're hanging out with their friends, they're happy. When they're modeling, they're happy. It's a different smile than when they're on stage and they're like, shut down.
I feel like Jennie in particular, like, we always hear, like, you know, she be hanging out with her friends, she going to parties and stuff. I'm like, okay, Jennie, we see you, boo. We see you.
And then you see her on stage and she's like, yeah, I'm here. Yay. Guys, thanks for coming.
I'm still waiting for Jisoo solo. I'm like, Jisoo, boo, I'm waiting for you. I've been waiting for her solo since I got into them. So I'm just like,
But see, did she announce? Well, I mean, they announced it. That doesn't really mean anything. They announced that she was going to have one, but
then she had that movie or whatever, and like they never talked about it again. So I'm just like, okay.
I think they're going to leave, or they're going to quit, or they're just going to have another 2-year break. But I think you can't keep doing that to people, because eventually people are not going to pay attention. Like, there's only certain groups I will wake up when the music video is released. I set my alarm. I wake up in the morning. I'm ready. I did it for Lisa. Lisa's solo. I woke up. I love her. She's talented. Lisa, I'm sorry, was not it. It was not. I was so upset. I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Was not it. Shut down.
I said that Shut Down sounded better than Pink Venom to me, but it was just, I don't know. I didn't listen to the album yet.
Generic. Anybody could have sang that song. Like, it was, the video reminded me of, was Kill This Love. That's like, it was just like, it's like auto repeat, because they know people will blindly like it, but then there's people that are kind of like, this is not it, and you just don't like their talent, you're just jealous. No, I'm not.
It's like,
I'm just telling you, it.
Right, and it's like, if I've even seen comments about this, and I 100% agree, when people say if it were any other girl group, they would get drugged. Because you have a hiatus for 2 years, you come back with this mess, that they would get drugged. But because it's Blackpink, people are like, no, it was good. Y'all are just hating. Like, what?
It was wonderful. It was good. And like, this was trash.
That's your opinion, and this is my opinion. It's like, people, like, Blinks are, like you said, like, I think some of them just blindly, if it's Blackpink, it's like automatically a hit. And it's just, but it's okay if not, boo. It's okay if it's not.
Not every group is going to, like, come out with a song that you like, and that's okay. And I don't think people get that. Just like, I will talk about every other group. So again, this week I posted Stray Kids' new Japanese release. I love Stray Kids. I love everything, but I don't like it.
I haven't heard it yet. I'm so behind on Stray Kids, but I haven't heard it yet.
It's
interesting.
It's interesting, and most of their sounds are interesting. I think this was another like experiment sound. I won't say it's a bad song because it's not, because it's Stray Kids, but it's just it's not for me.
Right.
And if you think I'm a real fan, but I am.
Right.
Because I think that's what they want to hear too. That their fans are just liking everything. That doesn't help them.
And I just hate how, because like when I first got into K-pop, it was like one thing, but like the more I got into it, the deeper I got into it, like it was overwhelming because of how fast they produce these songs. Like I feel like that K-pop needs to understand in general, was it quality over quantity? Like we don't need 100 songs in a year. Like give us a few bangers and we're good. But I just feel like it'd be so overwhelming when they just produce 100 songs. 100. Can we calm down a little bit? We just had to come back.
An OST, a Japanese version, a concert version, a band version,
a cute stick.
Like, we're good. A cute 3 different albums. A red one, a green one, a blue one. They all got the same songs, but different photo cards and the albums look different.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
We broke. So you come on now. We broke.
Yes. Like I got 3 kids. I don't money for that. Like no. That's ridiculous.
It's insane. And it
people
just
eat it up.
Yeah, and it makes me feel bad because it's just like how hard these groups work, and I'm just like, I know y'all tired. I know y'all are tired. I know y'all used to it, but y'all are tired too, because like even with like the, I guess, more known groups, like how many shows they do, interviews, and they, like you said, the lives and the vlogs, and it's just like when they have time, and that's how I be thinking about Monsta X. I be like, all this time, just talking y'all doing in these songs, we don't got the time to do that, because listen, I don't know what you be doing in your free time, but you need to call me and stop playing.
Yeah, what time? Him, I saw BM live. Have you gotten to Card yet?
I got into like one of their songs so far. I enjoyed it.
So, another group that you should get into. They have grown up music. Yeah, they're definitely, they don't have time, and because you're just got into K-pop, if you watch lots of BTS's documentaries from when they started out, it's very sad how exhausted they are. Like they're passing out and backstage. They got like cans of oxygen they're giving to them because they can't breathe. So I don't think it's still that bad, but I think it's that bad. Like these companies run them and run them down, and then you have like groups that the companies, to me, kind of forget. Like I hear about TXT all day. TXT. What about Hyphen?
I kind of listened to a few Hyphen songs, and like when I first got into them, I was like, I didn't know they were that young either, but like they were so talented. And like there was like a sassy member. I keep seeing clips about him. He is so hilarious. He's not here for the foolishness. Like
it reminds me of Q and New from The Boys. Like if they all would get together, like just the weirdness and sassiness. I think they would all get along. But like I think companies pick a group, and then that's who they promote. Like JYP for the longest, to me, forgot about Stray Kids until they realized that Stray Kids was getting more popular, and they're like, "Oh, I guess we should be paying attention to them." Yes, but also you're forgetting about your other groups. Like I don't know if they know how to manage them, honestly.
Right, because they just have so many.
They keep piling on top of it. Like
every 5 minutes, a group is debuting. I can't keep up. The only reason I knew about New Jeans because I kept seeing on my timeline, and I'm like, okay, well, New Jeans. Okay, I'm not getting into them, but okay, the group just popped out. Okay, I'm like, goodness gracious, there's so many.
So many, and then like NCT's coming out with another group, like another like subgroup, and I'm like, I barely know. There's 22 members.
I know one unit.
Like, I know Mark.
I know 10. I know 10.
Like, I'm like, why are you doing this? Who asked for this? Like, I can't. We didn't ask for this.
They want all the money. Like, K-pop is the most Like, I thought, American music, the industry was greedy, but K-pop is greedy. Like, K-pop is gonna have all of that money. Like, they go just.
No, a Snickers bar, a BTS Snickers bar. Why? I'm going to Yet to Come tomorrow at the movie theater. Mind you, it's not a movie theater, it's not an actual concert. I still had to pay $30 a seat.
Whoa.
And of course, my husband's like, your daughters want to go, even though I know 100% is a money grab because it's double the amount of tickets. And of course, like, it's gonna be me and a freaking theater full of people like me. Like, and then BTS is now what? Target and Barnes and Noble. They have a section in Barnes and Noble. Like, they know
how to buy it. Even like the
and some things I just can't justify.
Right.
And some things just can't be justified.
Yeah. Even when I had I've only been to 2 K-pop concerts. And I didn't go to the merch line, but when they told me the prices of some of the merch, I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna just stay right here. My broke stuff gonna stay right here because like I already had to pay for travel because like no group is like near me, so I always have to travel, and so like that's a lot of money. Gas is expensive because I'm driving. I ain't doing the plane. And it's like you have to do the hotel and like the food you have, so it's like so much that goes into just even going to attending their concerts. So I feel like it's a lot on fans. I think the broke fans. So it's always interesting that when people always talk about the real fans or not everyone has that money to spend. Like I will only do that for groups that I truly stand. Like I'm a hardcore, but I can't do that for every group that I like. Like it's just way too. It's impossible.
It's not plausible, and that's why I try to on my like TikTok. I do giveaways. Like I don't ask for anything. I just ask like a dumb question, and I put your name in a pool, and I do like giveaways because right now I am financially okay, but I know some people aren't, and they really want that album. Like, they can't get that album, and that, to me, that sucks so bad. And I understand some people's financial statuses are different, but then you got people that buy 75 freaking albums,
yeah,
and then they toss them, they collect the photographs. Why don't you give them away? No, I'm gonna sell them. Or you can just give them away to people that can't afford it. Like, I don't understand that. And then you merch $80 for a hoodie. I have a Cricut. I'll make my own vinyl, and I'll get a $10 hoodie from Walmart, and I'll make my own hoodie. I'm not doing that.
Even
I'm not,
because I haven't even been able to find the 80s album in my like local store. I've been checking every now and then, and like I can never find it. I'm just, who is buying these albums out? Like, just give me one. I'm sorry, I'm gonna purchase it. Can you just leave me one? My goodness.
I found one at Barnes and Noble, literally like in the back.
They was hiding it.
Yeah, they probably worked. Oh well, I found it. I don't like. I don't care. But it's like they buy all these albums without the consideration of it. Like, first of all, people want to buy. Is they're available locally? I'd rather buy it locally at the Target and Barnes and Noble, because buying it online, I'm paying for $25 for the album, and then I'm paying $30 for it to come from Korea.
Exactly.
Not everybody has that, and they're like, well, then you just have to deal with it. No, or I like to post other options, like people want to see Stray Kids, they don't have the money. There's the Beyond Live. I don't know if you've ever done that. It's pretty much at home. That's what I started doing with my daughters. I mean, the only thing bad about it is Korea time, so we do have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. But it's a home, and it's $40 instead of $500.
Oh, okay.
So that's always like an alternative option. So there's a bunch of groups that do that. You watch from your home, you wake up early, and then people are like, yeah, that's not a real concert. But to someone it is.
Right.
Like, it's $40 compared to, $300 for a ticket to sit in nosebleed. So
yeah,
to me it is a concert. And I don't have to get out of my bed, and my daughters get to be in their pajamas. So
it's a pajama party.
That's pretty much what it is, pajamas, and I usually make breakfast, and we just watch the concert.
What was your first K-pop concert?
With my daughter, Stray Kids. So, and then I went to, a long, long time ago, I did one of those weird, like, wet summer concerts with Hyuna and Seoul. They do, like, it's weird. I don't know why Koreans do. It's like a summer concert, but they splash water on each other.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures. I've seen pictures of that.
Yeah, I think one of those. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I think about like stuff I did as a kid. But yeah, I took my daughters. Their first ones was Stray Kids, and they had the best time.
I'm not surprised. I think. Okay.
So what was your first concert?
My first concert was Monster X last year. I was so nervous. That's the first time like I had went to a concert that far by myself, and I didn't know what to expect. I was so happy to see so many black mama bear, because I'm just like I knew I knew they had a diverse fandom, but and it was like adult mama bear too. I'm like, okay, this is my crowd right here. Like I really enjoyed it.
Makes you feel welcome almost, because even like at the P1 Harmony concert, I want to say a good 80% were brown, and I was like, oh my god, I'm not alone, because you always feel alone when you're not like part of the status quo. You always feel like the outsider, so it's nice to see like, oh, okay, I'm okay, we all belong, we're all just weirdos that like
right,
we're all having a blast together. Yeah, it's nice when you see people that are like you.
Yes, and P1 Harmony, I'm not even surprised, because I always see a lot of black fans, or just like diverse fans, talk about them. Like P1 Harmony is one of them ghetto groups. Like, and I think it's mainly Keyhole that like really drives that energy. Like he is so, like, that's one idol that I feel like on or off screen, that's just him, and like meeting him would be so chill. Like he's one of those chill idols that's just like, you know, it don't matter where you come from. He's just very accepting, and like as long as you respect him, he's gonna respect you. Like those type of vibes.
Yeah, you can always tell. Again, when you see people, because I don't know these people personally, but you can always tell like the vibe around from the people around them. And then of course, especially like Kyo, his members love him. Like especially Soul, like he's like their dad, and make you feel comfortable around him. You can tell that, so you can 100% know that however he is on stage or in front of the camera, that's probably how he is 24/7. Like he does not turn it off.
Exactly. And I know you talked about the Boys Planet earlier. Like I'm not I don't watch the competition, so I don't even watch the American ones. But I've seen some clips, and I'm gonna say this. Like I first learned about Mnet through Kingdom. So I remember going into Kingdom, like that's how I learned about the other groups and stuff. And people were saying how terrible Mnet is with editing. Like they will edit something. And like I was like, at first I didn't get it. Like even like later on, I'm like, because I wasn't really deep into Mnet. And then I seen on the actual Mnet TikTok of what they were posting. I'm like, you shady little, ooh, you couldn't pay me to do it.
I don't even have. I even know which clip you're talking about, because I was watching somebody that performed God's Menu, and I was like, really? Why did you do that? What?
These are trainees that they're not, and I couldn't stand like the Mountain Stays in the comments. Like they could never. No one is popping out like just right off bat like Stray Kids. Stray Kids have put in so much work over the years. Yeah,
that's straight. These are kids that literally they got nothing. They got zero.
So it's like they did their best. I just didn't like the way. Like Mnet themselves put it out there. Like, how dare you? I would sue. I would sue for her. No, ain't no way. Mm-mm.
And you'll get used. It's because you're new to K-pop. Mnet, they're called snakes. I actually have a shirt that says Mnet, and it's a bunch of snakes. They do lots of stuff that's very. It's not even shady. It's just like, really, dude, like. That's why I hate voting for competitions if I know Mnet is part of the award, because they already picked their winner. There's nothing you can do. They've been caught once or twice, like people are still voting and the other people are recording their winning speeches.
Oh, wow.
So, like, they've already picked their winner, but yeah, they edit horrible, or they make, like, horrible decisions, like Girls Planet. Hyunakai's sister for Kepler, every other video of that girl is them asking about her brother. What about your brother?
Right.
What about Kai? When you see her like roll her eyes, like,
what about him?
I'm here for me, to my brother, or she's Kai's sister, Kai from TXT's sister. And I'm like, leave the girl alone. Like, she's never going to be able to do anything. And that's, even at fan meets, people would bring stuff for all the members except for her.
And I couldn't believe that. Like, I've seen that a few last year, and I was just so like, what are y'all doing? Like, why you even, that like reminded me of like the girl groups in the States of when they would do it, and like the VM, and they'll always kind of pick their members they would go to, but skip the last member. Just get one little gift for the last member. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't.
Never understood that, because my thing is, if I'm buying, it'd be like me buying stuff for my kids' class and like forgetting 5 kids.
Right.
Like, that's
right.
Just buy for everybody. You ain't gotta like her. She don't have to be your best friend, but like, really.
It like I was surprised.
You can buy her.
I was surprised when people were talking about how no one. I think it was J-Hope, the member, when they said that like people didn't used to give him gifts. I'm like, J-Hope? What?
Nope. They never used to write him letters. They never used to give him gifts or anything. So there's, again, if you go and watch like BTS's old documentaries, there's actually the first time he ever gets letters, only like 4 or 5, but he's shocked that they were like, hey, you got letters. He is like genuinely like shocked that anybody would write to him. And that I don't understand.
I don't either. I don't get it.
It's the soul band. Like, you'll get used to that being in K-pop. There are people that are just solo stands. They don't care about the group. They just like the members. It's like Hyunjin and Stray Kids. They weird. It's Felix and Stray. It's V. It's Jimin. People love V, Jimin, JK. All the other members, if they would disappear, there's some people that would not care.
Like, I think for Blackpink, it would be Jennie and Lisa. Because I always hear people talking like, it's like Jennie and Lisa.
I think if it was just those two, people would forget about them.
It's
sad because they were put in just as much work. Like, yeah, it'll break your heart if you ever find a video. It's only like this little bitty stack of letters. But he is like, you can see like he's just me. Like, they wrote for me, and they're like, yeah.
That's why I also don't like the pre-debut like shows. Like, I know Stray Kids had one, and listen, I know oh my gosh, Monster X, like they're when I watched the clips with I.M.
When he did them dirty, did I.M. so dirty.
When I watched those clips, I was trying not to cry because I'm like, y'all were going in on my baby. Y'all did not like him, and it was like funny because later on they did an interview with Google. And I.M. was kind of going, he was like, yeah, like, they hated me. And then Minhyuk was like, no hate. He was like, no.
They hated him. Like, they did him so dirty.
Because they brought him in late. And they kind of, like, I think at the time...
At the last minute.
It was a lot. I don't like watching them because they're too emotional.
It's a lot, especially with Stray Kids. Like, have you watched it yet?
I seen clips of I.M. crying. I said, nope.
When Lino and Felix get out, like, they get kicked out.
Oh, yeah, okay, I did see that clip, too.
Yeah, and you're just like, but my husband's like, but they're in the group. I was like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
They're babies that are really, like, I don't, like, the trauma was not necessary, freaking JYP, freaking, ugh.
Especially with Felix, because like he was new to Korea, like he was learning Korea for everything, and y'all gonna kick him out the group. Like, he was so emotional, and it was like so hard to watch because I'm just like, not Felix crying.
It's hard to learn a different language, and what? Oh no, I think JYP realized his deep voice and the way he looks. Let me just
another Aussie.
Bring you on back. You're
gonna
another Aussie. Yep. And then Lino, he freaking choreographer, memorizes every dance known to man and helps train them. So, like, I don't like you.
And like, a lot of people, because I got my issues with JYP itself, and it's like funny when I think I did a comment like last Stray Kids video I did, and I made a comment about that, and like people in the comments were like, I just don't get why people dislike a JYP. He's such a nice guy, and I'm just like, okay, that's your opinion.
About Girls' Generation to R. Kelly's house, that dude.
Yeah, I heard about that too. The
dude with his, and that was, this is what I say they need some culture. They need somebody, and not a white person that has a degree in African studies. I'm talking about an actual black person, because his last promo for his last comeback, it was, I don't know if you've ever watched it, but it was so stereotypical, like Jugaboo 60s pretending to be black in the promo, and I was like, so you haven't changed one bit. Cool.
You know what you're doing at this point.
Yes, and I was like, what is this? Like, this is not funny at this point. Like, it's disgusting, and it's 2023. Like,
and he can get away with it, and that's what's the sick part.
What are you gonna do? I'm famous, and all these old, of course, Ajimas, they eating everything he does up. Mm-mm. But I'm like, dude, you haven't changed. Like, your Changbin don't like him.
When I say I love that beef, I love that beef. Like, I love that beef.
Every time you think of that man's name, his face like changes. Like, can we just move on now? Because honestly, what are they gonna do if Chan decides to leave JYP?
Yeah, he
has solidified taking everything is produced by 3 Racha. That's his company. Mm-hmm. I get to take all my music with me. All my beats with me. What are you gonna do?
He's gonna continue to strain on Twice.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I feel so bad for those girls. Like, I'm still new to Twice, but the amount of work, I feel like Twice. I know they're like bigger name, but I feel like Twice is still underrated. Like, Twice has such amazing talent, and like the songs that I've heard, I've loved them. Like, yeah,
they're so talented. Again, I don't think these people know how to manage companies. I just think they're so used to train, get them out, train, get them out, train, get them out, and then after that, they're like, cool, whatever.
It's always, and like you said, like they only really focus on 1 or 2 groups. Like because I remember like it was a whole thing before GOT7 left of like how they were being treated, and of course I'm still new to GOT7, but it's crazy because I think even at the time people were saying how Chan couldn't talk to like Bam Bam or Jackson because it was like there was the beef that was going on behind the scenes. And I'm like, well, there must be a reason they got so much beef with him, you know?
Yeah, probably just it's JYP. Just it's like Extraordinary Heroes. I don't know if you like band. Have you checked them out?
I've heard of their song.
Extraordinary Heroes. Yeah, they're new. What about Day 6?
Oh yeah, Day 6 is with them.
Day 6 is a band. So where they made y'all money, got this new shiny toy, Extraordinary Heroes, and I always say they're locked in a dungeon because they release a song and then they're just gone. Like, where are they? You train them. They were actually not supposed to be a band. They trained to be like a group like Stray Kids. And then JYP was like, no, you guys would be awesome as a band, so here you go.
And like the Han look alike. Yeah. Han's twin in that group. Like, they look so much alike.
Oh my god. That's his twin. Like, and they're both introverts too.
Oh.
And they're both so they're like twins, like separated at birth. Like, it's so weird. But like, where are they at, JYP? Where?
So we covered JYP, YG. What's the other one?
I don't like Hybe. Big Hit. Something about them as soon as they pretty much melded and became Hybe, I just get creepy. They don't care. They're the ones that care about, to me, quantity and not quality. Because they know people are going to eat it up. And no matter what scandal, if someone mentions something like, was it J-Hope and Crush? Crush was at a concert. He didn't touch any of the black people's hands.
Oh yeah.
That's J-Hope's like that. And then literally a couple days later, he released a song with J-Hope. And I was like, excuse me, we're just gonna forget that this happened. Like, we're not gonna talk about this. And people are like, you can't talk about it because it's J-Hope. I'm like, no, I'm gonna talk about it.
Right.
But someone that might be mildly racist, and knowing J-Hope, he might not see it that way. Again, I don't know these people. He might be trying to help a friend grow, But I was like, but we're gonna talk about it. We're not just gonna skirt past that just because it's BTS. Like we're not doing that.
Right.
We're gonna have a conversation. They're like, well, he just missed their hands. I was like, he deliberately touched a white person, skipped a black person, touched a white person. That's not like an accident.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of these idols realize how much like black fans they have, but like contribute to their like success. Like there's so many that even like when it comes to like reaction channels or just like there's people, I did interview with a lady who works like behind the scenes. Like there's so many of us that are into K-pop that helps like really elevate them, that like if it weren't for a lot of us, y'all wouldn't be as successful as fast. Like I feel like that kind of like, I don't think they realize that even with the soloists. Like there's a few soloists I can call out that's like, you know, it's cute for the moment, but you don't get a pass just because you're Korean. Like, mm-mm.
And I think that's part of the problem. They like our music, our culture, our clothes. They just want us to be quiet about it. And no.
Yeah.
No. And I think that's just Koreans in general, not just K-pop. Because even, like, we were watching a K-drama. My husband's like, why are they so pale? I was like, because they put makeup on. Because they're still in this mentality that you can't be dark because that means you're poor. That means you work. But for me, I'm sorry. Like, Chan coming to the United States, and he was tan. Thank you. Like, them being their natural... Like, Felix came from Australia. You see old pictures of him. He's, like, 17 shades darker. Like... Like, why are you keeping them out of the suns? We want to see them natural. We want to see them with bodies. We want to see them eat. We want that. Stop this weird image that they need to be pale and they need to have light eyes and the blonde hair and be this big and don't eat and
that
like,
that was like an issue too that happened with Stray Kids, that I was like side eye because it was the whole issue with the joke with Changbin, and I'm like, please understand, this man is not fat, he is buff, my man, you know, he work out, like, come on now, that's not funny.
He's buff. And again, Stray Kids concert, I was not expecting, like, I went there I was there for Felix and Han, and he came on the monitor and I was like, well, I'm not here for them.
You got my attention, you're right.
Just muscular. He's healthy. To me, that looks more attractive than just someone who looks gangly. Like,
yeah, and they don't. And they never pick on Sungmin, and like, cause he's like more slim, you know, they never pick on him. So it's just like, why would you do that to Changbin? Like, I feel like in like a lot of stages were like, you know, it's just a joke. But even when I got into them in late 2021, like it wasn't funny then, and it's still not funny. Like, I never got that inside joke. Like,
they never pick on Han. Then Ian got really skinny during Thunderous. Like, he looked sickly. They never say anything about him. But and he's not big. Like, I don't get it.
None of these idols are. Dang it. Like, don't come to America, because you ain't coming for me. Like, I don't know if you know about 17.
Yes.
So, I'm going to just say it. Like, that shocks me, because I was still, like, new. And, like, the way V8 just came for me like that, I did take a personal a little bit. Because I'm just like, okay, boo, you're right. I'm going to just stop eating. Let me just stop. You're right.
Like, I think it was so natural to come out of, and then you're looking at him like,
let me really? just we all can't be a size 2, boo. We can't. It's just not it.
But also in that same conversation, the fans don't want to see them, because the minute a K-pop idol says they like someone with a little brown skin, they like someone with little hips, the fans lose their mind. Like, they can't. I was like, you can't fathom that he might like a bigger chick? No, that's not possible. How do you know? You don't know him.
I don't get it. I feel like
because they might be with a black girl. No, that wouldn't happen. Have you met RM? Have you seen RM? Have you heard Chan singing about the chocolate legs?
Like, A-Tini, I think A-Tini are one of the fandoms that like just enjoy it, because they always talk about Mingi, and like he's like, I don't know.
Amsterdam? Was it Amsterdam? Last year when they did the Europe tour, or a couple years ago, he got caught with, hasn't been confirmed 100%, but confirmed, that he took some girls back to his hotel room.
Why wasn't I one? Hold on now. Hold on now.
Like, how dare he? And then, of course, all the other fans were like, good for him. Good for him. Like,
who cares?
This right now? Like,
they're,
you know what? Good for you.
Like, literally all of these idols, they're good looking, they're young, they got money. Why can't they have fun? Let them have fun.
Let them have, that's what I don't, let them have fun. And then it's like this line too that, like, there's one girl that was on TikTok, I had to stop following her because she was coincidentally always at, like, JYP's cafe when Stray Kids came through. Coincidentally outside their apartment. She was, like, following around. I was like, they're around twice in ITZY. You ain't, it's not gonna be you. Like, I'm sorry to tell you that, but it's not.
It was never gonna be you, babe. It's okay though. Like,
yeah, it's not, like, if, and I was like, and it's not a coincidence if it's happening every other day.
Yeah.
You're stalking them. That's creepy.
And
they're still not noticing you. So
maybe find another hobby. Maybe just find a hobby in general. Like, you know.
Go do something else. Go eat some ice cream. Go look at a temple. Like, I don't.
It's kind of like with the fan calls and like how comfortable they get. Because, like, I feel like a lot of us know, like, they're the ones that always get it. But there's this one in general that, like, when she won the fan call, it was so weird because she was just like, yeah, she was talking about, because I don't know if you know, like, the inside joke of, like, Hongjoong and, like, how he doesn't want us looking at other groups. And
yeah, he gets real. He gets yeah.
And, like, again, you spend so much money on these fan calls. It was just so weird how she was just like, yeah, like, I think she said she went to another person's concert, and he was just like, it's like almost like he had to pretend like, oh yeah, I had to be jealous, I forgot. But it's just like, you know, even when San, I think that one came out of nowhere, like, when the fan was there, and she was like, you know, I'm so and so, and he was like, yeah, like, I just saw you yesterday.
I posted about that too. I was like, see, even they're tired of seeing you, because my thing too, I don't think they get it, that idols, they want to meet other fans. They don't want to see you, and especially they don't want to see you if you ask them to bark like a dog, or you got, like, why, or you're asking them, like, weird questions, like, no, like, and they can't end the fan call because you pay for it.
Yeah.
It's a paid service. But, like, you're wasting your time. Yeah, he's like, I just saw you yesterday. I know you are. Like,
and then
like,
you got...
Yeah.
Then you got Mingy over here going crazy with all the black fans. I've seen so many fans calls with him. I'm like, Mingy, calm down. Calm down, Mingy.
There's one, I don't even remember her name, but she is gorgeous black girl. And she got her low-cut top. She got her... And he is, like, mesmerized.
He's like, yeah, that's a chocolate I like.
And people... There's no way he likes black. I was like, he likes chocolate. I don't care what you say. The man does not, like, he's not a vanilla man. He is a straight chocolate. And I've noticed too that the darker their skin, the happier he is.
Because
so
ATEEZ is one of those groups that, like, they don't discriminate. Like, they ain't looking for all of that. Like, they're so, it's another one of them ghetto groups. Like, they with the black people. Yeah. Like,
they want to see that diversity, especially, my thing too, they live in Korea. So when they come to the States, there's different varieties. It's like Baskin Robbins in the States. There's all kinds of people here. In Korea, there's not that much. So they come over here, and I've noticed ATEEZ, Stray Kids,
Monster X,
GOT7. They really lose their minds when they come to the States.
They get excited.
Because there's different varieties of people, of culture, of food, of everything.
And there's, like,
in Korea, there's not.
Yeah, like, there's nothing, like, I think people need to understand, because they're not just stuck in Korea and they're able to travel and experience different things, that's good for your brain. Like, it's good to experience new things, learn new cultures. Like, I feel like a lot of people just want them to stay like in the States and well, in Korea, and just like, this is all you know and this is okay. But it's just like, y'all get so much anyway. Korean fans to me sometimes can come off as greedy because they get much more than that's anyway. Like, y'all get more concerts, like more dates, just like more interactions versus the international fans. We had to wait to them to come over here. Then if we hope they come close enough to our city, like, it's just like they get more. So sometimes it just comes off as like, some of them are so selfish or just like greedy with the interactions, like they don't want to share. But it's just like, too bad because they like it over here.
Yeah, we like them now. Or just like, even we were looking at ticket prices. So like TXT at a concert in Seoul, there's no price gouging over there. So TXT tickets straight up front row, whatever, $160.
Wow. Goodness.
VIP for one of the already released, $570. That's before scalpers get a hold of them next week.
Yeah.
So I'm like, y'all have the companies there. You get to eat in their cafes. There's a chance you might see them walking on the street. All we're asking for is just a little, just a little bit. We're asking for the bare minimum, pretty much. Like, we just want to see them in concert. We want the albums available. We don't want everything to cost, $700. I shouldn't have to, like, donate blood to go to a concert. Like, fan calls. I was like, why don't they have fan calls like, you're on a list. Like, you already had one this month, next person. Like,
right.
I don't understand that. Like, the companies are like, whatever, you're buying 800 albums, that's on you.
Right. And it's just, I feel like that also turns off fans, too, from just, like, enjoying it because they want so bad to win those fan calls. But it can't just be about that, just because the chances are so slim. Like, the goodness gracious.
It's like playing the lottery. Like, you can't let that affect you. Just like I always tell people, like, on my TikTok, you don't have to buy an album. You don't have the money, you ain't got the money.
Right.
Like, that's just, YouTube is free. There's Spotify that's free. Like, you can still listen to the music. You don't have to purchase anything.
Right.
You don't have, if you don't got it, you ain't got it. Doesn't make you any less of a fan. Like, you don't times are hard. Everything's expensive.
Recession. It's a recession out here.
Everything's expensive. Like, you can't afford it. You can't afford it. It's just life. And then there's people that make people feel bad about that, which I don't get. It's very much privileged.
Do you have a Twitter?
I do. I've never posted on it.
Well,
I do have a.
I was gonna ask, like, do you see, because like there's just like, at least for me, like, when it comes to like the drama of the fandoms or just like in general, like, do you feel like it's more on Twitter or TikTok? Because I was surprised at how much drama happens on TikTok.
Twitter is worse. I just want you to know that. Twitter is worse, and the TikTok, like, I try to, like, say not interested unless it's like a scene. Like the one last week, there was literally someone that made a TikTok joking about Felix cutting himself.
What? That's not a
And
joke.
so all of us, of course, I'm like posting on my TikTok, sharing. We're gonna make sure we're sharing like in messages, make sure we don't like share it so it doesn't spread, and like just going like mass blocking, like reporting it, because like you can hate a group, I don't mind, but sometimes the hate is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I noticed Twitter and TikTok are the two where I see the most drama, and it's mostly like, this is why Stray Kids is horrible. This is why ATEEZ is horrible. This is why BT. I'm like, why is that necessary?
And it's sometimes it's like bots that are doing it, because I've like learned that too. Like some of them aren't even real people, and like I hate, especially like ATEEZ when they fall for it, because I'm just like, why would that was clearly bait that you took. Like we don't have to have them any type of attention. Like it's just I can't stand when they do that. Like they say something bad about ATEEZ and it's like why are you giving that energy? Like just leave it alone. Like I wouldn't have even seen that if you hadn't like quoted that and like went off. Like that's how much we can stop the spread.
They don't. It's just like if you ever go on the YouTube like comments, you can tell they're bots, but no matter what group it is always whatever rival group they're associated with. Then there's like 50 comments about that rival group, so then it riles fandoms up. And I'm like, ignore it. Ignore it. It's not real. And they're like, well, Stay started and ATEEZ started. I was like, you guys are acting like my 7-year-old twins. That's not. Who cares? Who cares who started it? Why is that relevant? Y'all are both. They're both successful groups.
I'm telling you, man, that energy it's the Blinks and Army type of energy, but for fourth gen,
Yes.
and it's just insane to me.
It's like y'all are making it exhausting and not fun to be part of this. Like it's not fun.
And
You guys are making it exhausting, and people don't want to be associated with those groups. What you're doing is you're making people go, "Yeah, I don't like Stray Kids or ATs because they don't." Like, come on, people. Halazia, like that was my. Not that's from ATs. I can't. Their fandom's crazy. Check the song out. What's it gonna do with their fandom?
Right.
Listen to the song. No, their fandom's crazy.
I feel like it also kind of stops us from getting more interactions with them in public, because with Kingdom we got, you know, Wooyoung and Changbin like together, like that was our boos, like they were so cute, like oh.
I don't want to create the wars. That's what I keep saying. They need, I swear if they ever did this, I'm fine. I don't care how much ticket is. A Mayfly like tour from Kingdom. I would. I don't care how much it was.
That would sell out. They should do that.
They should create another unit song. Make a music video.
Yeah.
Fan wars stop collabs, I think, because people don't want, like Jimin and Taeyoung. They've been in the business for how long? It took them till now to make a song together because of VIPs and Army. And then Suga interviewed him, and people couldn't fathom. Suga was straight up fangirling on YouTube, on his channel, like over him, and he was like, "You're the reason I got into music. You're the reason." And sure enough, armies were like, "There's no way he's the reason Suga got into music." I was like, "You don't understand. This is someone he's looked up to. He's literally telling y'all, this is my idol. I love him. His cheeks were red. He's fangirling." And they were like, "No, that's not the real Suga." What is? They can be fans too. There's tons of K-pop idols that are obsessed with other K-pop idols because of their music and they want to work with them.
Yeah.
But I think the fandoms prohibit that. They don't want the drama.
And it's sad because I even when Hoshi from 17, I think he met Usher like a few days or a few weeks ago, and people are like, mostly the black fans were like, yes, you know, like he loved him some culture. Like the other fans are just like I don't understand, da da da. But it's just like, again, I don't think a lot of like Korean fans understand how a lot of these idols they take after like the American artists. They grew up like listening to them and watching them, and that's okay. Like I don't get it.
Nope, it's not okay. Just like what is it, Lollapalooza? Changbin's gonna probably meet Kendrick, and I'm like, if they collab,
that'd be sick.
And people are like, oh, that's not gonna happen. He would never. I was like, you don't. He's literally obsessed with rap and R&B music.
Mm-hmm.
Him going and meeting Kendrick, he is probably gonna fangirl harder than anybody that's there. And if they can collab together, like it's like this line, like, yeah, they can collab with people, but if they're dark,
right.
But just produce it for us and let us put our name on it. We don't want to see you. But if you could do that for us, just like, what was it, Black Swan? Why aren't they popular?
Black Swan, that with the black idol, right?
I say her name, Fatou.
Yeah.
I'm probably butchering this poor girl's name, but like, they're actually good.
They've been through a lot. Like that group in general. Like there's so many changes that has happened to that group that I'm like, I can't keep up. So
they got a lot of drama, and one of the dramas was the girl from Brazil was racist.
It was a lot.
K-pop is like, yeah, she's racist, but she's really talented.
Or she's like really pretty. I think a lot of people don't understand. Pretty privilege helps everybody in any industry. Pretty privilege helps you.
I mean, again, look at Blackpink. It's pretty privileged. They work their butts off, yes, but again, like Shutdown. If it was ITZY that made that,
well, I'm not even.
Fandoms would eaten them alive.
I'm I'm not even I forgot Mitzi, I think is their fandom name. I'm not. I listen to ITZY, so I've listened to their songs and stuff. But even with because they had got backlash for like one of their songs, they released one or two songs they released last year. They had seen a lot of people go in on them because it was like more. It wasn't as expected as a lot of fans kind of wanted. So they got a lot of backlash for that.
It was probably Sneakers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The song.
So it's like, again, it goes to like, because it's Blackpink, people don't hold other people as accountable or like on that standard because it's Blackpink. So,
and to me, that's not fair because if it's bad, I don't care who it is.
Exactly.
Like, but it's like any other group, they will literally dog and trash. And there's only certain fandoms. I always can tell which fandom is going in on the other, and I'm just like, why? Why is that necessary?
I didn't know
because
that.
If we faves, y'all like lose your mind.
I didn't know that it was like beef between ITZY fandom and aespa fandom. I didn't know they had like a lot of beef too. I'm just like, oh goodness. I started aespa. I started aespa.
I started getting into them like aespa. I just don't. I like them, but I don't do the AI thing. I just.
That's weird, but they have good songs, but once I like girl, something an incident happened with Giselle, and I'm just like crap. So I was like, man, come on now. I wanted to support, but you know what? I'm gonna stay clear. It's okay though. Like y'all got good music.
She doesn't fix herself at all. Like it's
that, and that's always my issue. Like when it comes to like the mistakes they've made, especially with stuff like that. Do apologize. Like if you were so quick and so like public disrespecting, why can't you do the same thing with an apology? Like why can't you put that same energy into an apology so we can hear your sincerity?
I want a real apology. Always call it like Crush gave I call it a PR apology.
I call it a generic company apology.
A company apology. Like I'll put Han out there. Han did some things when he was younger. And his first thing he said in his apology was, "Please still hold me accountable. I do not deserve forgiveness. Hold me." I was like, "Okay, I give you one pass." I was like, it went on Bubble, and people were like, "Why did he go on Bubble and apologize?" Because JYP, they have their phones, couldn't doctor up an apology for him. He sent it on Bubble, and then got in trouble for it, but it was already out there.
Right.
So I take that more to heart than, I am so sorry for what I did. I hope you will forgive me, period.
Or don't say anything. They just keep going along with their life. I'm just like, okay. Okay.
And they do. Who was it at KCON that had the do-rag?
Oh, yeah. I don't know who it was, but I heard.
He took it off. He had the do-rag on literally during Sugar's part when he says, "Nigga." And people were like... You knew exactly what you were doing, and you thought it would be funny. And we just keep it. I've noticed with some groups, we just keep it rolling, like nothing ever happens.
It's like, you don't remember that one time that you was, you know what I mean? Now you want our support, now you want our money, but like doing that, right? Like, come on. And I think it was another group, because I talked to an African K-pop fan, and she was saying how it was like, now not the group, the Coco group, but it was like another group that was using Afro beats, and it was done in the wrong way. I forgot what group it was, but it was just done in the wrong way, and I'm just like, you can't keep doing this, man. Come on, K-pop.
But they do. TXT just came out with a song again. People didn't like my take on it, but I posted my TikTok. I was like, so y'all can use Afro beats, but you don't like African people?
Wait, what happened with TXT? I'm like, what happened with TXT?
One of their newest album, one of their songs is straight up Afro beats. It sounds good, so they did it correctly, but people are eating it up. But you don't like black people.
Mm-hmm.
But you like when Koreans use our music.
Yeah, their take on it is what it is.
Yeah, I would say their take, because there's some, so like Stray Kids did drill. People didn't know what that was. So now every other K-pop group after that is starting to do drill. And I'm like...
it's like I don't know. I don't know if it was kind of because I remember talking to another army and she was kind of explaining how BTS did a lot of research. I forgot what song or album will come back, but they did like a lot of research. They had went to like I think a choir with other black people, and they kind of like learned it from there, and like that's how they put their respect toward that culture. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I think it is one of those things where if you're gonna like look into that culture, because I feel like if it was like an American artist going to like Korean sounds or just like Korean culture, they would want Koreans would want them to do their research. If not, they're about to get eat up because it's like that's cultural appropriation. Like how dare you? Like this, but it's like okay, so now you understand how important it is to give just black culture credit and just kind of respect in that same way. Like if that makes sense.
But they don't, and I think BTS also made a lot of mistakes, and they're one of the groups that I think learned and they're trying to fix it. So they're like, cool, we messed up in the beginning with black people, so now we're going to not only immerse ourselves, we're going to talk to black leaders, we're going to talk to people that produce black music and ask them, how do you do this? And that's, I think it's so simple that none of them want to do. How do I do this correctly? How do I make sure this is respectful? But they're like, cool, we're just going to take it, and we know it's going to sound horrible, probably, but people are going to eat it up. And then you got people, black people being like, that sounds like trash. That's not good. This is, you guys did this totally wrong. And they're like, no, you're just hating because it's Korean. No, I'm actually Korean, and I'm telling you no.
Even when I think it was a Blackpink incident, but I think it was the Hindu incident where they stole from their culture, and I think fans had got upset about that, and like again, Korean fans are just like, this wasn't offensive to you. This wasn't your culture. Like,
what, you were sorry or something? They did something, and people were like, that's disrespectful. Like, why would you do? And it goes over their head because it's not their culture. But then I always say, you guys flipped out when Ollie London. I don't know if you know who that is.
Is it that white person?
Yeah, the white dude that swear he was Korean.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like he's been a whole thing. But my thing is, you guys were so upset because he was stealing your culture. And literally, to me, it's making fun. It's like clown makeup. It's so disrespectful. And y'all were so upset, but then you go and do the same thing to other cultures, and then you're trying to figure out why people are upset. Like, no.
I don't know if you... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, we're past that. Like, it's 2023, 2022. Like, why are we wearing an Indian headdress? Like, why are we doing that? That's not funny.
Right.
And they're it just goes over.
And it kind of goes into like anything they do and everything they do is just like, it's because it's my fave, it's okay. And it's just like, what? I don't know if you've seen when the trend happened of, I've seen two white TikTokers kind of talk about it, of basically how they don't understand how, basically they were saying black people, why they even try to be a K-pop idol, because they know like they're not going to be able to do that. And and I just sighed. I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? Like, really? Okay.
I've seen a bunch of it, and it makes me upset because I don't understand how they haven't died out, but the racists just keep producing more racist.
Yep.
And it's not, like, why wouldn't they be able? If you can speak the language, why not?
Right.
We'll recruit from everywhere. Why not?
And again, it's like they're taking from black culture. Why wouldn't I want to also be a part of? Let me see what y'all are dabbing in. Since y'all want to take my culture, let me see what y'all take on it is. Like, why is it such a bad? If they are talented, they're willing to put in the work. They understand the consequences of being an idol in general. Then let them try out. Let them dream. Like, I don't understand.
Nope. They want the culture. They want the music. They want the clothes. They don't just this. I love her, but I don't love her. Jessie. She is a prime example to me of a caricature. Like, I love her. I don't, because it's almost like a caricature of what she thinks black culture is. That's what it reminds me of. Like, just the way she talks. And if you watch her, my thing is, I watched her talk on, like, interview shows. She sounds different than when she's... So that's... I don't like the switch up. I don't... So you switching it up, I can code switch. I'm black. I'm allowed to code switch. You are not allowed to code switch between Korean and black culture. You're Korean. Like, you don't get to do that.
And it's those black fans that are on, like, because I've seen a video calling her out before, and in those comments, people were like, I'm black, and I don't see a problem with it. That's okay, boo. You don't see a problem with it. But if I decide to see a problem with it, then I'm allowed to have that opinion.
Yep. Like, it's I call her a caricature. That's what she is. She emulates what she thinks.
Because she's from... Where's she from? Not New York. Is it New York?
I thought she was from LA.
I thought she was from... Okay, so... But I was going to compare... Because B2B Pinel... He's from...
Pinel. I'm going to butcher his name too. Yeah, he's from...
He's from New York, I don't know, Jersey.
He's from, like, Jersey, or is it from... He's from the East Coast.
No, so the reason I say that was because he doesn't do that, you know, because people always say, oh, well, just because she's from the state, so that's why. But it's like, so is Peniel, and he doesn't put on a show like that. He never has. So it's just... And so I'm always just like, okay, so y'all want to, you know, say it's okay for her, but it just one day Pena decides to do that, and he's like, well, I'm from the States, y'all gonna have to see an issue with that. So I don't get it. I don't get it.
They give her a pass. It's honestly, again, it's a pass. It's like, it's okay. No, okay, I'm glad you're okay with that. I'm not. Because I know that's not who she is, because I've seen her in interviews. That's what I have a problem with. You're fake.
And she was called out on that before, I think, and she was just like, because I think someone just straight up said, like, you want to be black, and she was like, who wants to be black? And like, she kind of went off a little bit, and I'm just like, I feel like, because she knows she gets those comments a lot, and it's just like you said, like, you can see the code switch, so it's just kind of like one of those things where it's just like, if they put her on this pedestal, so if it was any other idol doing that, y'all know y'all would call them out and be like, you know, you just want to be black so bad. If it was somebody they didn't like, an idol they didn't like, they would happily go in on that person. But because it's their fave, it's gonna be a pass, and it's just like, why though? Why are we paying favoritism like that?
Like, no, you don't get a pass. I'm sorry, you don't get a pass. I don't. It's weird.
Since we're gonna talk about, let's just talk about it, the other one that I hear so many people talk about. He's like R&B singer, the idol. I don't know his name. It's not Crush. It's some R&B. Like,
it's Zico, but he's like a rapper.
Who?
So it can't be Zico.
No. He's like, everyone talks about him. They're like, you know, I think a lot of people collab with him, and like they didn't like it because he's so problematic. Was it Crush? I don't think it was Crush. I think it was somebody else.
It wasn't Crush. I mean, he is problematic. Now you're going to have me look it up later. I can't think of another one is Zico because he stole ATEEZ's dance, or the choreographer.
Oh, I remember that was so... 18 was going in. 18 had beef with that man for weeks.
And I get it. I get it. Because it's your faves, and you don't want their work being stolen from them without them being credited, but it's kind of like, it's a dance, it's okay.
I don't even...
But I get it.
Was he...
There is an art. Let me look it up. Now you're gonna have me look it up.
I just learned about... I'm sad because I just learned about a little bit about Jackson's past, and I'm like, no, not Jackson.
Yeah. And I made another video about him because he is worrying me. I'm looking up this K-pop. I'm gonna find this.
I'm so mad I don't know his... I know he did, I'm so mad I don't... Because my friend, she told me, she was like, beware, because she like gave me a list of like problematic idols.
Linkin Park?
Yes, that's him. That's him. I've heard about him and his... Yeah.
He loves to steal the culture too, but he's one of those people that also give generic apologies.
Oh.
he'll do something and be like, "Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I made a mistake," and then we'll move on.
I'd rather you just not apologize. Just don't even waste your breath.
Yeah, because it's fake. And what sucks is because he's been in the industry so long, lots of the K-pop idols look up to him. So that's why it's kind of problematic, because then you see on TikTok all these people collabing with him.
Yeah.
And again, it's just like with Crush, they don't see. They're like, okay, he did this problematic thing, but he's my friend, and I look up to him. So it's kind of like that double-edged sword. And the same thing with Jackson. Like, he said some stuff about China, but my thing is, what do y'all want from him? He can't apologize.
Right.
And Google China. The man can literally not apologize for it.
I didn't know how strict China was, like, because, like, I'm also into BLs, and, like, learning about how they, like, handle that stuff over there, I'm like, wow.
If he ever were to speak out about China, there's a high probability that they would not only hurt him, they would harm his family. So he can never apologize. There's no apology. China's the best, number one. But then also, it was like something about him. His mini rants during his concert, his like increased drink. I was like, something internally is going on, because even like one of his interviews was he hates coming home to an empty house, so he leaves a lamp on, so it looks like someone's home.
Because that may also make sense when recently I heard that he invited some fans back to his hotel. So maybe that's because he didn't want to be alone. I don't know.
He invites the fans back to his hotel. He invites them to restaurants. Like, there's no clear line, and I think he just wants company. But I hope whoever's around him is being careful with that company, because you don't know who's coming back to your room. Like,
and we know how scandals go in K-pop, and how crazy that just one rumor can ruin your entire life. Like,
dude, are you being careful? Like, are you...
NDAs.
NDAs. You don't want anybody assuming what you did behind closed doors. So are you having witnesses? Like, are you...
That's what I'm worried about.
Because...
anyone can lie.
Anyone can lie. He can misread a situation. And then what? You're drunk on doing whatever, and then what?
Your career just ruined.
Your career's done. You're done. And I don't think he's thinking that right now, and I'm hoping that it's not one of those situations where the company around him is just egging him on, because he's spending money. They're having a good time. I'm hoping. But I was like, something about him is worrying me. It might just be my mama heart, but something's going on.
And my friend, she also was telling me about how Mark, and like she says that Mark had like a lot of fake friends around him, and they were using him.
Yes, Mark is one. First of all, I don't know why I don't like the man. Something about him.
Mark?
I don't know if it's just I don't know if it's just he's so arrogant, and I don't know if it's just he's like I'm the shit. Like, I can do what I want. Like, what are you gonna do? But he had a lot of scandals. He even had some allegations against him because of the company he was keeping.
Mark.
So I think that's obviously why now he just keeps to himself, because he can't trust no one, and that's probably also a hard position to be in, because you can't trust people.
That's so sad, and that does like feel lonely, because like at least in the States, like I used to like watch a lot of documentaries of like how like a lot of Disney and Nick stars grew up, and kind of like their environment, the people they were around and stuff, and so that always had me like, you can't trust anybody. But like looking at the K-pop idols, and it is kind of crazy to think they always have people around them, like their staff and like their company, like if they always have people around them. So it is like when they're alone, like how do you feel? I don't know. I feel like I always think of it deeper than that, and it's just always sad that a lot of people just always look for a come up, and they're always like looking for clout, and they never just genuinely go to these people. Like they're normal people with talent that got famous.
They just want a friend.
Yeah.
And I think people are like, well, they have their members. They don't like. They want friends outside.
They see them every day.
Yeah, like they want someone they can go. It's like I kind of laugh. It always makes me happy to see Lino. He's got like his two friends on his vlogs. They always like, of course, scrap out their faces, but
Yeah.
he like goes fishing with them and camping, and that's probably what every idol needs. They're two friends
Mm-hmm.
they can call up and just go eat food and not have to worry about them being like he's Lino from Stray Kids. Like,
And I think that's also why they like to befriend other idols in their industry, or at least definitely in their gen, because they can understand them and they can go to them for advice and they can feel safe in those environments. So again, when fans always try to push like fan wars, it's like that's probably their best friend behind the scenes.
that's probably someone they can confide in and not just be on Bubble all day or Weavers messaging y'all about some like leave them alone. They're people. I don't think people they don't view them as people. They view them as a product.
Mm-hmm. And like they
And that's bad.
and like you said, like when with the bubble messages, it's like it's not like they can go to you and ask for help, because in reverse you always go to them and say like, you know, I'm going through a tough time, like can you make me feel better? Or they're like, you know, you saved my life. So it's like that responsibility of like they can't lean on you because you're leaning on them. So it's they need that like outside support. And I think that's probably another, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. It's like the trauma dumping. That's what it is. The trauma, and then they're like stuck with all your trauma and their
Mm-hmm.
trauma. Like, what do I do?
And I don't know why they don't have like a therapist for them, because they just go through so much, especially, and that also worries me with the minors, because it's like they aren't fully developed to like to go through so much of everything they have to go through every single day with the press and the social media and the backlash. They're going through so much mentally at such a young age that it could definitely like affect them as they get older.
And I don't think they do have that. That's you have 14-year-old, most of them away from their families, with staff molding them how they want them.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, the mold's gonna crack,
Yeah.
and then you got all these comments and social media and people making videos about them and talking about their weight and everything else, and then you want them to go on stage and smile and sing while people pretty much spit on them and call them all kinds of names, and you're okay with that because they're making you money.
Even I don't know if you heard about the Omega X drama that happened, like with their company.
Yep.
Look, I didn't go in detail, but what I did see, that was just messed up. That was insane.
The same thing's happening with what's the other group? Luna.
Oh.
So there's another group going through that where they all left their contract, and some of the contracts they can't leave, but it's the same thing. They're being mistreated. They're not being used. The company. So, in which I'm also for. I'm 100% for idols starting to fight back.
For sure.
Like this is not like New Jeans. I'm sorry. Why is the CEO like? If you look up New Jeans CEO, she's a female. She should be on a watch list. She should not be around them. The new group, Baby Monster, YG, even though he was technically found innocent, he has a lot of scandals with underage girls too. And he's in charge. As soon as I saw the promo video, and I was like, why is he there? Why is he around them? Like,
right.
Youngest one there, I think, is 13.
And that's just the things we know about. There's no telling how much stuff we do not know about when behind the scenes.
Exactly. I was like, no, absolutely not. No.
There's no way. Because, and it's like weird because I looked into a little bit about Twice, their pre-debut, but like when they used to put them in the companies that young, they also used to train for so many years before they even debuted. So it's just like now they're like, okay, you're 12, 13, okay, give you 2-3 years and your debut. Like, what happened to the idols that like put in a decade of work before they even debuted?
They pick and choose what groups debut. What was the other group? Was it Trainee B, Trainee A, or something? I literally trained these boys. They were young, 13, 14, 15 years old. For 2 years, like people barely heard of them. They were on YouTube making covers, train them. They would meet small groups in LA, and then literally a couple months ago, they're like, "Yeah, we know you guys love them, and you're waiting for them to debut. We're not debuting them."
Wow.
So then everyone's like, cool, let's just say they weren't part of that group's plan. What is your plan for them then?
Right.
If they started out when they're 13, they're 16 now, they've been in Korea this long, what's your plan? Are you going to put them with other groups, or are you just going to abandon them?
Yeah.
How upsetting would that be for a young kid to put in 3 years away from their family and you just kick them to the curb?
Yeah. Is that the same that it happens with like the competition, like the Boys Planet thing? Is that the same thing? Like they put them. So are they gonna be one big group, or they're like putting them out to be debut in a group? Because Huey's in there.
Okay. So you're new. So it was. So you didn't watch like Girls Planet.
Mm-mm.
So Girls Planet is pretty much the same concept. So the group Kepler is from Girls Planet.
Oh. Okay.
So this group, they have like almost like a limited contract. So then people are asking, of course, the same question. Once Kepler's contract is up, are they going to still be Kepler, or are you guys going to? They're just going to be done. Mm. No one has an answer.
Wow.
Like no one has said anything. So there's a chance when their contract is up, they disband their whole group. After the competition, after they've trained, after they've had comebacks and songs.
So why? So with Girls Planet, was it people on there that were already with other groups? Because with my thing timed out. Because with Boys Planet, Huey's on there, but Huey's is with Pentagon. So it's just like I'm confused.
But Pentagon, I'm like, why would they do that? Why don't they just have Pentagon come back? But I don't think Pentagon's been the same since Dawn left.
And because I just did my Pentagon week. But so Dawn, so he, it's not funny, but it's just like, I'm just confused because it's just like they were so talented, like, and I get it, like Dawn was, he was a big part of it, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, even with Icon, when BI left, they still had to go on. BI, first of all, BI, okay, but like they still had to go on, when he left. So I find that they're not, but it's Cube, so I've heard things about Cube, about how they're managing Pentagon. It's like, because Huey, I think he just got back, so it's just like, I thought we were gonna get like a comeback with him. So it's just weird that they put him on the show, because it's like, if they debut, then it's like, what about Pentagon?
I think they did it for views. That's honestly what I think they did it for. I think, because the boy is crying. People are covering Pentagon songs. The boy is crying. Like, it's hurting him, but I honestly 100% believe that he did not have a choice.
Yeah, I do too. I don't, because, he misses his group. Like, he hasn't, like...
He misses his group. He's like, why am I here?
And then, another member, he got, joined the competition too, right? Jin?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so I honestly, I think it's just a ploy. I think it's just a ploy for views, because they know people don't want to watch it. Girls Planet, at the end, people stop watching. I stopped watching it once they flip the scores. If you watch Girls Planet, the ending's going to make you very upset.
Oh.
It was like this whole scandal, and I was like, this was a waste of my time.
Oh my goodness. See, that's just...
And it's in it. It's in that.
So I have watched a few of Queendom, but people were saying how messy Queendom 2, I think, got because of the fandoms as well. So, and then the editing didn't help. So it's just like, again, you couldn't pay me to be on Mnet. You couldn't pay me to be on any of those shows.
No, because it's all editing, and the way they edit, especially when I watched Queendom 2, the editing made them seem so, like, typical girl, catty. And then one of them actually came out during Queendom 2 and was like, are you going to edit this and make me seem this way?
Hey.
She straight up, are you going to edit it? And it's true, because they want the drama.
Mm-hmm. Even with Huey, they had, because I had seen a clip going around on Twitter, and like he was crying, and like people were saying he was crying because he got a low score, and then it came out later that he was actually crying because they were covering a Pentagon song, and I'm like,
exactly, they're covering his song, he's going to cry. Right. But the way they want it is to get views, honestly, because
it's a no.
I can't watch it. I can't. Yeah.
Especially with such talented people, because so with Girls Planet, was it people that were already debuted or trainees, or were they all trainees?
They were all trainees, but they're all from. So that's part of the problem too. There's lots of, I would call it xenophobia, because there was Korean girls, Chinese girls, and to me, the KNet, the K citizens were like, no, we don't want her. She's Taiwanese. We don't want her. She's Thai.
Oh, wow.
We don't want her. So I also think that's the problem with K-pop. Like, they just want Koreans, but you gotta look Korean. It's like, that's, I think, my problem with Kai in TXT. He's very white passing. Him and his sister are very white passing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look. They look Korean, but you can tell they're mixed.
Yeah.
And what their popularity is, people are like, cool, they're mixed.
Mm-hmm.
No, when I say mixed, I want 7 braids darker than me. I want braids. I want bantu knots. I want lace. Like, I want us. I don't want white passing.
And that's the thing with Black Swan, of like the new Black Swan is people were saying how like they shouldn't be considered a K-pop group because there's no Korean members. I don't know if you've seen that conversation.
Yeah, I saw that with Black Swan, and the other one is XG, because they are like, there's one member from Thailand. It's like a group, and they don't consider themselves K-pop. They consider themselves a global group.
Okay.
Because and people are like having a problem with that. I was like, no, if it's Korean, if they speak in Korean, they sing in Korean. It's Korean pop. Like,
right.
Then just call it pop. I was like, then why are you saying just call it pop? That means everything should be called pop then.
Yeah.
No, it's not Stray Kids. It shouldn't be K-pop. It should just be pop.
Because if no American artist is gonna come out and with a Korean song, like with Korean words, and say like, oh, that's just regular pop. That's K-pop. Like, you speak a Korean, boo.
Exactly. I think that's the problem. Koreans are like, cool, you can sing in our language, but here's a category for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can't call you K-pop, because then people are going to associate us with them.
Yeah.
No, we're here. We coming.
People have talked about like the racism that happens with K-pop with other Asians, when people are like, like you said, with the Thai members or like the Chinese members. Even I think NCT has like a whole Chinese group. I don't know. It's like so many different. Like, they always try to separate them instead of just kind of like mixing them up together. I don't know. It is weird.
It's always been like that. So I'm mixed. I'm Korean and Black. It's an automatic thing. And luckily my dad wasn't so bad about it, even though he's Korean. But it's like, your skin's too dark. You're not Korean enough.
Oh.
You're doing this. You're not Korean enough. I'm like, well, I'm also Black, so
right.
Like, even with my daughters now, so I'm Black and Korean. My husband is white and Mexican.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my kids are all hodgepodge. So like, in the summertime, I have like my Korean side, my daughter's melanin, like she's outside 5 seconds, her skin soaks it in, and they're like, maybe she should sit in the shade, she's getting kind of dark.
What?
Yes, she is.
Right.
She's a mixed baby.
I don't get it.
Or like basic pictures of them like in their hombooks, and like we took pictures in their hombooks, and they're like, their skin's really dark. Yeah.
I don't get it. Even when I see like the idols, yeah, like I don't get it, because even with Fatu, like in the beginning, I seen like her makeup was more on the, I guess the only word I could really use is ashy side, because it's like the foundation. That's really the only word, because it was like, it wasn't really fitting. And I think it's because, and I think Black influencers have said this before, of like the lack of shades and stuff you find in Korea for Black people. So you really have to bring your own makeup or order it, because they're not going to have it in stores. And so it's like, I think it's gotten better, like seeing her now. Again, I haven't looked into her or anything, but just like the pictures I've seen, I'm like, okay, so they didn't have her shade back then, but like, I think maybe she ordered some. I don't know, but it's just, it is, even when we see the more pale idols, they give them even more like lighter foundation where you can clearly see a difference, and you're just like, why would you do that?
Why would you literally look like a vampire? Why would you do that? Why would you do it? I remember her shades, because I used to call it, it was her winter foundation, not her summer foundation.
Yeah.
You know, when you,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
looking at like, why did you literally look like you took baby powder and just slapped it on your face?
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with
And
her
they
melanin.
it's not cute. That's why I don't understand when they come back to the States.
Everyone should be in bed with your reading light on only.
Yeah, my kid's alarm's going off.
This is a reminder.
Oh.
Everyone should be in bed with your reading light on only.
If you have to go, that's fine. We can wrap it up. I know it's getting late.
They're reading time.
Okay. Yeah, no, we can wrap it up. And this is, again, it goes to show how, like, easy it is to kind of go over the time limit because how much we talk about. But again, yeah. I have more of these, so don't worry. And hopefully next time we have more people in. But again, I enjoy doing these. I love, meeting other fans and stuff and talking about it, especially when we can talk about like the Black issues.
Yes, that's 100%. I had that friend at my last job, and she was Black, and she had an army bag, and I was like, "Please tell me you like K-pop." And she was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Thank you." It's just different because we deal with different issues, and when you talk to other Black people, it's heard versus other races, and they're like, "What are you complaining about?"
Exactly. And I feel like we talked a lot, especially with the like more problematic situations in idols, and it wasn't you feel attacked because I feel this way. It's more like an understanding type of feeling. So I really enjoyed that. So I guess the last question would be like any upcoming concerts that I know you just went to P Harmony, but any upcoming concerts this year that you are attending or want to attend?
So I don't think it counts. We're doing the Yet to Come thing tomorrow, and then we're doing the Stray Kids Beyond Live in 2 weeks. I do want to see TXT, and then honestly, anyone Want Us. I don't know much about them, but someone mentioned them, and I'm like, you know what? Let me get into them. Dreamcatcher, I have to see. I don't really care. I want to see them so bad, but I'm honestly looking for new K-pop groups. One Us was the one everyone keeps mentioning to me over and over again, so I'm just starting this week to like go through everything about them, but they are the one group I definitely have to see this year in person.
Yes. Well, hopefully you do. And people that are watching, give her some recommendations of new groups. There's so many out there. And just let me know if you want to do this again. We'll do it again. And I hope you have a great night. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.